A hazy white band of light in the night sky. A vast cosmic city of 200 billion stars. This is the Milky Way galaxy. The solar system is located in a quiet neighborhood of the galaxy, tucked away in a safe neck of the woods. In the solar system, there is a blue planet, at the right distance from the sun, restless and dynamic with a perfect climate. This is Earth, our home. Life on Earth appeared around 4 billion years ago in the face of single-cell archaeobacteria. With the passage of time, life evolved from single-cell microbes to multi-cell animals, planktons to trees, invertebrates to vertebrates, small animals to large mammals. Different organisms emerged in different ages and ruled the earth. Some species even faced extinction for various reasons. And then we came into the story. The Homo sapiens, wise humans. We have benefited from a fabulous 4 billion years old legacy powered by the sun. We are only 200,000 years old. We soon learned the use of fire, tools and agriculture, and that's where our evolution began. Though we evolved step by step from cavemen to kings and queens, our evolution speeded up when we discovered the most valuable treasure beneath the earth's surface: the fossil fuels. In the late 19th century, use of different fossil fuels like coal and oil started, but in the early 20th century, it caught a momentum. Oil consumption rose, especially in the field of transport, and later took over in the energy industry. This $5 trillion global fossil fuel industry provides over 80% of the world's energy needs each year. Although technologies to extract fossil fuels may have changed over the decades, the core products themselves have never been challenged. But great benefits come with greater costs. 2/3 of the oil used in the transportation industry is the main emitter of carbon dioxide, which is one of the prime reasons of global warming. So far, we have burned our way through some 600 billion tons of carbon. On December 2015, 195 countries agreed to legally bind climate deal to reduce carbon emissions for the first time ever.
Keeping in view of the global energy scenario, when we see the entire content of fossil fuel for the entire globe, which is absolutely finite, whereas the population is increasing each and every day. In that case, it is sure that the total reserves of the fossil fuel which is within the crust of the earth will vanish very shortly. So, it might be within a span of 50 years, it might be within a span of 100 years, or it might be in a span of 20 years. But what next?
As oil became abundant and cheap, world consumption continued to rise and approached 100 million barrels per day. According to the Statistical Review of World Energy (BP), we will soon be running out of oil, coal and natural gas by next 50 years. Pressure to reduce carbon emissions and decrease in global stock of crude oil and coal is putting the future of mankind in jeopardy. But where there is a threat, there is also an opportunity. Environmental concerns and decrease in global stock made scientists and energy investors to look for renewable source of energy which neither causes pollution nor will run out in future. And when it comes to renewable source of energy, what could be better than the sun, Earth's original energy source?
Unless we take a positive step in this regard to identify certain alternatives which will be sustainable and the resource will be perennial, the life would cease to exist in the entire globe. So, it is very, very necessary that we seek for certain alternatives, and of which solar energy is one of the most important alternative, because in each and every part of the globe we receive sunlight, and from sunlight we can convert it to usable energy, might be thermal energy, might be photovoltaic energy, might be electricity, or through photosynthesis, whatever. In that case, the presence of sunlight will determine the existence of life in the future.
Each hour, 430 quintillion joules of energy from the sun hits the earth. Of all the energy that does reach earth, slightly less than 34% is reflected back to space by clouds. However, the remaining 66% solar power is 10,000 times more powerful than the planet's population uses in a year. Energy from the sun is the most abundant and absolutely freely available energy on planet Earth. In order to utilize this energy, we need help from the second most abundant element on Earth, sand. To use in solar cells, sand has to be converted to pure silicon crystal by 99.99%. Solar panels are made up of smaller units called solar cells. The most common solar cells are made from silicon. When silicon is doped with phosphorus, it suddenly has way too many electrons, which is called N-type silicon. And when another wafer of silicon is doped with boron that doesn't have electrons, we get P-type silicon. A traditional solar panel is just a layer of N-type silicon sandwiched on top of a layer of P-type silicon. When the two types of silicon meet, electrons can wander across the p-n junction, leaving a positive charge on one side and creating negative charge on the other. Sunlight is a flow of tiny particles called photons shooting out from the sun. When one of these photons strikes the silicon cell with enough energy, it knocks an electron from its bond, leaving a hole. The negatively charged electron and location of the positively charged hole are now free to move around. But because of the electric field at the p-n junction, they will only go one way. The electron is drawn to the n side while the hole is drawn to the p side. The mobile electrons are collected by thin metal fingers at the top of the cell. These solar cells are called photovoltaic cells or PV cells. After passing through the fingers, the electrons get collected in Boss bars. The top negative side of a cell is connected to the back side of the next cell through copper stripes and forms a series of connected cells. When this series of connected cells set parallel to another cell of connected series, we get the solar panel. From there, electrons flow through an external circuit doing electrical work like powering a light bulb, a house, a building, or even a space station. In the last decade, solar energy emerged as the single largest renewable energy industry in the world. India has a great potential to generate electricity from solar energy, and the country is on its course to emerge as a solar energy hub. The techno-commercial potential of photovoltaics in India is enormous. With GDP growing in excess of 8%, the energy gap between supply and demand will only widen. In 2018, India became the second largest producer of solar power in the world, following China. One of the most sought after forms of energy in recent times is solar energy. Considering the huge demand of energy across the globe and the decrease in fossil fuel, more and more countries or more and more organizations, individuals are opting the solar energy as the alternative form of energy. Also, it's clear, clean and renewable. Now, considering these factors and many more, now the solar energy is the next most important thing. Now, how far have we succeeded in harnessing the sunlight and converting them into solar energy? Have we been able to do what is required of us? How do we protect the environment? And such other factors has made it compulsory for us to look for an alternative form of energy, and that is solar energy. In this regard, especially in India and especially in Assam, when it comes for the uses of solar energy, the installation of solar panels, the solar controls, Assam Energy Development Agency has been incessantly working to bring in and harness the solar energy and trying to disseminate amongst the people. Of late, various institutions have come up using the solar panels and the solar installations, and they have benefited a lot. Like other states of the country, Assam has also proven itself to be one of the frontrunners in the field of solar energy.
The Science and Technology Council, which was formed in the state of Assam in 1988, there were 4 divisions, including the Energy Division, which has come out as an independent entity in 2002 as Assam Energy Development Agency. And since 1988, EDA plays a vital role in propagating use of renewable energy, particularly solar energy, in the entire state of Assam. Under the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, EDA happens to be the state nodal agency for implementation of different renewable energy programs on behalf of the central government, with different formats of subsidy which is provided to the people for the entire northeastern region as well, including Assam. And in that case, EDA plays a vital role in propagation of solar technology in Assam, be it say solar thermal technology, be it photovoltaic energy, or different aspects of solar applications.
Under the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, Government of India, Assam Energy Development Agency has successfully installed 5.42 megawatt of solar power plants so far.
We have completed the project covering 5.48 megawatt capacity, covering residential, institutional and social sector.
Under Rooftop Solar Program, Assam Energy Development Agency EDA installed 197 projects in the state.
We have been using this solar light system since 2014. Initially we started as a 2 street light or a garden light. Since then that 2 particular lights, we are till 2019 it is working very nice. We are happy with that, and last year we have put the solar plate on our building 5th floor, above the 5th floor, and last 3-4 months after that when the meter was commissioned, then we are getting lots of benefit. Minimum we are saving money up to 25 to 30,000 from our bill, and it was supposed to be 20 kilowatt, but at this moment we are getting at least around 16 kilowatt. Hopefully in the summer month we will be getting much better result, and we are very happy, and I really appreciate if people are going to use for any other solar energy, because it is a free energy and we are getting it very nicely.
Moreover, EDA has so far electrified 760 villages, covering 36,392 numbers of households. Currently, EDA is installing both off-grid and on-grid solar power projects in Assam. Dear viewers, right now I'm here with the Assam Engineering Institute here in Chanmari, Guwahati, and I have with me Mr. Amarendra Rava, and he'll tell us about the solar installation out here. Tell us something about this solar plant out here in the Assam Engineering Institute.
This is a 45 kilowatt plant. As per 130 numbers of plate is installed here. It had taken around 1.5 months for the installation. And as per system design and requirement of the customer, so this is 45 kilowatt plant, and we are manpower here around 10-12 person. And in case lights are not available, so it placed in a as a substitute of grid. So
you mean to say, like, if there isn't enough sunlight, then automatically it gets converted, then you have the other electric system coming into place.
Yeah.
Right. So coming over to the manpower, like for institutes, you have got different institutes installing this solar plantation nowadays. So how demanding is this solar plantation?
As per government rule, so each and every institution they have to plant this solar power system. So we are placing different parts of our northeast region, just like polytechnics are there. So as per requirement, we just installed.
Right. Now, is there enough, like, I mean to say, like, is there sufficient sunlight during the entire season or maybe during the entire year to run an institute like this with this solar plant?
Yeah, definitely. And this is combined actually. If we don't get APDCL,
Right.
then this is combined high. Yeah.
Right, right. And coming over to the maintenance, now after the installation of the solar plant, I believe you need to have enough manpower to completely maintain the system, right? So tell us something about the manpower involved. Is it cost effective or is it very expensive to actually maintain such solar plants?
If we maintain this, just we need to check through the wires, and once in a month it had clean the modules, then it will be less cheaper to maintain.
Okay, great, great. And now coming over to the uses of various, like, say, fans, air conditioners, so many equipments. So do you think like this is good enough to provide all the energy that is required to run all these appliances?
Yes, but in a limited load.
Okay.
If we there is a connected load, if a 45 kilowatt plant, then we just use to around 30 to 35.
Okay.
In a limited load, we can use it.
Okay, wonderful. So you have to maintain a limited load, though, even though it's 45 kilowatt, but still, and you have to maintain within the 35 kilowatt, right? Okay, dear viewers, would like to take a closer look of this solar plant, and Amarendra will just take us through that. Yes, tell us something about this.
Actually, here is a, let me check the installation process. There is a 122 nodes of PV module. Each module they have positive and negative wires, and connected in a series throughout the 11 pairs series, and they all wires come into this AGB. AG means array junction box. This is all connected. Then there is a input and output. And input, they are series connected through come in input, and output directly goes to the inverter room. That means control room.
And right now I'm here in the control room, and Amarendra will tell us what exactly is done here in the control room.
As we have seen in roof, the connection is coming from roof to DCDB. From DCDB, here cable input in a inverter. And for inverter backup support, now we can see this battery bank. Battery bank also support us this inverter. Then through inverter, this line comes into the ACDB. Then ACDB goes to the load.
Now regarding the conservation and regarding the electricity bill, that's also very important. Everybody would like to know about it. So to what extent does the expenses come down after using this solar plants?
Actually, if we install this plant now, then it will reduce 30 to 40% of electricity bill.
Okay, wonderful. Yes, sir.
And we can check this parameter also, grid, how much it gives. As this is readings are there. Grid power inverter, how much? Not inverter, sorry. Array. Array means solar module. This is current at the rate of 5.8 ampere. The power generation is till now 2.61 per kilowatt. Okay. Solar radiation, this system readings are there. Then battery bank also provide how much power? 0.9 point. There is no daytime. It's less load is available now. That's why it gives it 0.97.
First of all, we would like to know, we know there's a huge demand of solar energy, especially in this region. But now coming to the very fact about the difference between daylight hours and, and the sunny hours. There's a big difference. Now people usually get a confusion between these two. So tell us something about it. What exactly is the daylight hour and what are the sunny hours?
Exactly, the daylight hour is from the sunrise to the sunset. Total duration of the sunshine is considered as the daylight hours, but in the sunny hours, we can say in the inverter running phase, there is some sort of time where we are getting the VOC and VSC, ISC and BIMP, PIMP, where we are getting the maximum power from the solar energy, in which the amount of the duration which we are considering here around 9:30 to 1:30, it is around 4 hours we can consider, in which the inverter has maximum efficiency and they are generating more some sort of energy which is more useful to us. But during that time also we are generating some sort of energy, but the efficiency of the inverter is very low, that is around 20 to 25%. But during the peak hours or sunny hours, we are getting the generation around 70 to 75%, which is more or less sufficient to fulfill our requirement.
On-grid systems are solar PV systems that only generate power when the utility power grid is available. They must connect to the grid to function. They can send excess power generated back to the grid for later use. The Government of India, China, Germany, Denmark, New Zealand, Austria and other nations have made the development of renewable energy sources a top priority. The clock of climate change is ticking. If we don't deal with it, climate change will race out of control with consequences no one can predict. It's time to come together. What's important is not what wrong we have done in the past, but what we can do right in the future. As long as the earth exists, the sun's energy will be inexhaustible. All we have to do is stop drilling the earth and start looking to the sky. All we have to do is learn to cultivate the sun.